Happy Sunday, you beautiful people. I'm very excited to be able to tell you that today we're going to South Carolina, US of A. Oh, yes, we are. Now, every Sunday, I bring to you the world's most beautiful, lovely, talented, passionate, and creative people. And today is not an exception. We are going to South Carolina, as I said, to meet Greg Howard Jr., Executive Director of Your Life, the Mixtape podcast, as well as Headliners magazine, and his written books. I mean, this boy does everything. He's amazing. And I had the pleasure of working with him 15 years ago when we were both at the age of 9. You're going to love to meet Greg. Let's have a little bit of an introduction to his empire that is Your Life, the Mixtape, and let's go meet the man himself. Greg Howard Jr., star of Your Life, the Mixtape. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You haven't changed an iota in the last 15 or so years.
It's, moisturize. That's
what it is. Exfoliate. Actually, I'm really that's pretty impressive, man. I didn't realize that we kind of met each other. I mean, you obviously were wearing a different outfit then.
Yes.
Little bit more going on here.
Right. Yeah. A little more in the face.
Yeah. So that was, my God, I've been in Mexico for 8 years. So yeah, that must have been about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. You're looking well, dude.
Thank you. You too.
You must be coming up to 30 now, right?
I actually just turned 40.
Really?
Yeah.
Mate, I just turned 50.
Shut up. You're lying.
No, I fucking ain't. And I feel every second of it some mornings, if I'm being completely honest. It's like, oh, man. How cool. So how have things been? I mean, are you still in Atlanta now?
No, I'm in South Carolina now.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the coast. I left Atlanta 5 years ago.
Just wanted a quieter life.
Yeah, I needed a break. It was all a little go, and I wasn't as young and spry as I used to be. So
you just need a place to kind of reconnect, recharge their batteries. But I guess, I mean, how many hours is it from South Carolina? About 2 hours to Atlanta from there? 2 or 3?
Yeah, it's like 2.5, 3, something like that.
I remember that journey. I was working down in Augusta. I can't even say it.
Yeah, Augusta.
Sorry, I'm all with my phonetics now. I'm in Mexico now. So yeah, I was there for a couple of weeks and off to Atlanta. That's where I met you in a pizza joint of all places. Where will you normally find Jaden? Somewhere that involves food. Food and music. And I happened to sing while able to eat pizza. That was like one of the best shows I'd done there, I think, quite frankly.
It was one of the best shows that's happened there, quite frankly.
You are smooth. I bet you've not had any short, fat British boys there since, though.
Not to my knowledge.
I see. They need me back. I need to do like a
Absolutely.
That'd be wonderful. So what's been going on for you? So you were doing a drag show then, right?
Yes.
Were you hostess with the mostess at that particular point?
I was not hosting that night.
Okay.
But I popped in to host that show a couple of times.
Sweet. So what are you doing now? Podcast, magazine? I mean,
yeah.
How did it all start? What got you involved in it?
So it started about 2 years ago ish. Have I have a friend who was doing a kind of a news commentary podcast type thing, and I had been on his show a couple of times, and he said, you are good at this, you should do this. So I did, and did my launched my first show that's no longer on the air. And then after that, did a couple more news type podcasts. Did one that was kind of a 20 questions type thing. And then I launched Your Life the Mixtape, which started out just because I wanted to talk to my friends about, what kind of music was important to them, and, the music they grew up on, because I'm a junkie for stuff like that.
Okay.
And that became my primary focus. And in the run of that show, I have interviewed some really, really cool people. Fifi Dobson, Ryan Carnes, who else is, but just several really amazing celebrities, and then just people that I know. And from there, I started getting emails from like PR places, PR houses, who were like, "Hey, we'd love to have such and such an artist on your show." And I was like, "Well, this show doesn't really lend itself to an artist to talk about their music. It's more about somebody else's." So I launched the show Headliners, and I'm pushing 100 episodes on that one, coming up very soon. And the natural progression was start a magazine. Rolling Stone is pissing people off putting Taylor Swift at the top of like the best vocalists of all times. Let's give them something else. So that launched in July.
Wow. So, and how's that going?
It's
seen on your link tree. I've been looking for the links on your link tree, but how is it all going? How is it?
It's going fantastic.
It's a lot of work, though, right?
Oh my God.
Intense.
It's a lot more than what I thought it would be. Because I'm very much a perfectionist. So if something looks even like a millimeter off, I'm like, okay, we have to scrap the whole thing and start over. So there are days when I spend between 12 and 18 hours sitting in front of a computer.
Wow. Okay. But when the final results manifested, did you think that was worth every second, man? Or was
absolutely. 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 Every time an issue comes out, I'm like, I cussed this magazine and said, you know what, I'm not doing it anymore. This will be the last one. And then when it comes out, I'm like,
oh, I can't wait to start the
next. That was totally worth it. That was totally worth it.
Amazing. So how has it been received by your viewers or your listeners?
It's
our viewers, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty well received. We're getting between like 10 and 15,000 readers an issue. So it's not bad. It's doing all right.
And is it a monthly magazine?
It is a monthly magazine. It's completely free. Yeah. And the next issue, by the time this airs, the next issue is out right now.
Okay, cool. And so podcast, magazine, book comes to mind.
Yeah.
Uncle Jaden, all about it.
God, let's see. Shortly after I left Atlanta, I retired from drag. Because my knees and my ankles couldn't handle the heels anymore. And I needed a creative outlet.
Mhm.
So I decided that one day I was going to write a fucking book. And so I did. I sat down in about a month and a half and cranked out my first book. And then it's called Hi, I'm the Ugly Friend and Other Tales of Not Living Up to My Potential. And that's out now wherever you purchase digital books and such. Um, and it was a very cathartic process because I got to put onto paper a lot of the thoughts that were in my head that I was like, I can never say this in mixed company, or I'm either going to get a drink thrown in my face, I'm going to get smacked, or they're going to lock me in a nut house because they think I'm crazy. So
Not my
it's
life, to be fair.
yeah,
You read-
and yeah. So, and then a year later, I put out my second book, which is called Don't Make This Weird, uh, which was more of a like stream of consciousness type thing, whereas the first book was very much, this is my life, these are my stories. The second book was, here's everything that's going through my head at any given moment.
Okay.
um, and so also that is out for purchase if you would like. And then about a year ago, I released my first work of fiction. It is a gay rom-com. It's called Life, Liberty, and Something Like Happiness, and also available on Amazon or wherever you buy digital books. And then let's see what else. Oh, at some point this month, probably by the time this is out, the re-release for the first anniversary of Life, Liberty, and Something Like Happiness, special kind of like collector's edition with some bonus feature type stuff, is out. And the sequel will be out in October, and it is called Not So Self-Evident.
Wow, amazing. Do you stop ever?
No,
No.
no.
Hence the reason why you had to move down. So the ambience of where you live is a little bit more tranquil, because I'm doing all of that and living in a high impact city as well. Must be fucking exhausting.
Right. I don't know how people who are creatives live in like LA or New York or even like London, Tokyo. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, I can do it. That's why I live in the jungle of Mexico. So, but that's the danger of that is also sometimes you get a little bit lulled into that tranquility. So to get motivated to do something, music, show, whatever, is just like, oh, I'll do it next week.
Yes.
Have a pina colada and a Kit Kat.
I'm going to have a nap on the beach.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because you live by the beach, right?
I'm about 15 minutes from the beach. Yeah.
I'm really bad with geography, man. I'm from London, so like anything outside of kind of Scotland and Ireland, I'm pretty crap with. But is it on the Gulf of Mexico? Is that where what is it?
No, I'm on the Atlantic Ocean side.
So it's still pretty much just above me though, right? If I'm in Cancun, I'm literally just down south of you. And if you go into that little dip, that would be the Gulf, but literally directly above the Caribbean is the Atlantic, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I'm good. Going brunette from blonde was the best option. Now I even make sense to myself. This is amazing. Fantastic. So you've got a bit of a hurricane situation potentially going on soon, haven't you?
We are in hurricane season. We caught a little bit of
is it Franklin?
I forget there was one that just hit. It starts with an I. I forget the name. Yeah. We got some bands on that one, but we've still got like 2 months left of hurricane season. So there we'll probably catch one or two more.
I'm like 15 minutes from the sea down here as well, and it's the same kind of It's just changed course a little bit. Need to get my washing dry this week. I've got a show on Saturday.
Right.
So do you have a preference between, I mean, like the old life of yours, the kind of metropolitan, going out there doing shows, to the laid back, more chilled podcast, to the crazy intense magazine, to the being able to have your own private therapist in book writing? Do you have any preferences, or do they all need to coexist together in order for you to get full release of your creativity?
It I feel like everything that I was getting from doing drag is now kind of broken apart, like you said, with the podcast. I'm still getting to perform. With the magazine, it's very much like creativity and art, and the books are that release of all the ideas I have. So to your point, yes, I all of those things have to happen together to even meet just a little bit of what I got from doing drag.
Wow. Okay. So that was really all encompassing then.
Yeah.
You miss it? Do you think, sorry, I'm going to put bandages on my legs and my ankles and I'm out?
There are moments when I'll get like a promo stream of a new album, and I'll hear a track off that album and I'll be like, damn, I could do some really cool stuff with this. And I've got a single pair of heels left, and I'll put them on, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna give this a go, just to see how it is. And I taught myself to walk in heels vacuuming the house.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll plug in the vacuum and like run the vacuum real quick, and I pay for it for 2 days. And I'm like, okay, well, we gave that a good shot. We're that's out.
That's my body telling me tennis pumps all the way.
Yeah.
Bless you, man. That's pretty, well, I guess everything evolves, right? I mean, how was you doing? You was doing the podcast for the COVID season as well, was you? The first COVID rush?
There toward the end of COVID is when I started, when most people started tapering away from like doing podcasts and making banana bread and God knows what else we were doing during that year. That's kind of when I started, when there was a lull in the market.
Okay. And did you find that helped you keep creatively, artistically alive during that period, or was you quite happy for the downtime when it came to that particular point?
I was thankful for it, because I had this constant loop of, how do I keep this fresh? How do I keep this new? How do I keep people coming back?
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into, so now let's see who we can get to be on this show. And so I had to get creative with that. I was like, okay, how am I going to track down the managers and the PR people and whoever? So if nothing else, it kept my hands busy.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the same for me, in all honesty. I can't do shows, I can't get out there, but I don't speak to that many people in English, and my Spanish is pretty crap. And I kind of just really miss talking about art and music and all the lovely things in life. So I thought, right, I'm just going to chat to random people once a week. Well, actually, it started off, I thought, well, no, I've still got some friends in the industry from, I've been singing for 32 years. So I've still got a few contacts. I was like, I know if I started a little chat show, I wanted that. My original plan was for it to be like a 1970s kind of, I come on singing a song, and then I introduce my special guest, play some of their music, and then I end with a song. And then I just thought, so I'm bored with bloody singing. I just want to talk with other people and watch them do it now. So now I'm missing. That's why I just released a new single. But I was just like, I want to be like an old 70s kind of, the entertainment shows back in the day. You're obviously too young, but they were really cool. Like, it was just really good entertainment in the 80s and in the 90s. It was great music, great artists. I mean, there's some amazing ones now, but it just seems different now. It just seems less important, more conveyor belt, more kind of, the next kind of person that fits that particular mold, and less chance for unknown and indies and, you know, all that particular people to rise. And obviously, you know, so that's why I kind of wanted a chat show, because I didn't feel the people that should be getting an opportunity to promote their wares were given the option to do that.
And that was a lot of my thought process behind, you know, doing the Headliners show, was that, you know, I followed some really great independent artists on social media, and, you know, they were getting features in, like, you know, local stuff, but, you know, they incredibly talented people with amazing stories to tell. And nobody was getting to hear those.
Well, long may it continue, your Headliners show. That's what I say. So, and do your Headliners show, do they feature in your magazine, or is that completely different?
The majority of the people that have been on Headliners have featured in the first few issues. I say first few, we're only like 5 issues in. But they were the first people that I reached out to when I had this idea. I was like, okay, I have this idea, you know, we already kind of had this working relationship. Will you take a chance on me one more time?
Wow, sweet.
And it's paid off incredibly. And, you know, I'm getting more and more like artists I haven't talked to yet that are wanting to be in the magazine and wanting to be on the show. So it's always exciting when an artist comes through my email that I haven't heard of. Because I'm good for just getting on Spotify and hitting that random, and whatever pops up. So if I haven't heard of you, it's a good day.
Oh, sweet, man. So if you ever get a low week and think, shit, I've got no one for this week, oh, give me a bell. I'm here, man. I don't do much. Hey, playing with my rescue dogs and chatting.
Anytime you want to come on the show.
Always. Always. You just let me know.
Absolutely, I will.
Amazing. But do you have a preference? Do you prefer the Mixtape or the Headliners?
They
both offer something completely different that you can really vibe on.
As of this moment in time, I have actually taken the Mixtape podcast, and it's now part of the magazine. Okay. So it's not a podcast anymore. It's part of the magazine. Because I found that I had kind of hit a wall.
Okay.
In that, you know, I had done 5 seasons of it, and every season got bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally I was at a point where, like, this Z-list podcaster is like knocking on the A-list door going, will somebody please come do my show? Please. And, you know, trying to coordinate. And I did, you know, I got several big names that I'm not allowed to say anything about, who said, yeah, we'd love to, you know, let's work on scheduling. And scheduling for a podcast, for those that are not aware, it is a nightmare. It is the most difficult part of, you know, and you know, with this show, like, scheduling is not great.
Yeah, especially when it's international and there's so many different time zones.
Yes.
I'm trying to fit something where I know my dogs aren't going to bark and they're going to be awake. It's just like, okay, that's why I set 3:30 in an afternoon. My dogs are the quietest because it's the hottest time, and normally it's kind of early morning or late night somewhere in the world that's not this side of the pond, you know. So
absolutely,
but yeah, it is. You know,
so you know, I figured, let me try to do this in the magazine, and I can just
slot it in,
email the agent and be like, all right, here's the questions, you know, copy and paste it into another email, send me a few photos, and we'll print the thing.
Wait.
And the response to that has been fantastic. They're like, yeah, here you go.
Amazing. And are you self-published as well?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
so that's a bloody lot of work as well.
Self-published. I do all the editing, all the artwork for the magazine is done by me. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I think you're doing an amazing job, and also,
Thank you.
It's been the thing. You know, there are times when you just think, I just don't know if I can keep doing this. It's like, you know, and you get someone like, oh, you know, no one shares it, or you're like, oh my goodness. But then you get people saying thank you so much, because there's not many people giving us indie artists a voice, allowing us time. No one's ever done this for me. You know, and I've been singing for 32 years, and you know, I've had record deals, and I've sung in Atlanta, darling, in New York. So, but no one's ever given me time. So I thought, no, fuck it. I want to give people some time, because, you know, not everyone's Rihanna, Gaga, Taylor. And, you know, there's artists that are probably even more talented that don't have that backing, that just need to get their stuff heard of, you know.
Yeah.
So even if only 28 people see that particular show, if they, you know, it might come up on some Google search or some random search, and all of a sudden they're discovering this new artist, this new person that's got a podcast, this new sculptor, this, you know, people that are passionate about art and creativity. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
So no, so I think you're doing amazing. Don't stop, unless you're, of course, going to have a nervous breakdown, then you might need to.
Well, you know, that's a typical Tuesday for me. So it's, you know,
you're living by the beach, mate. There's no excuse now. So that's it. You're banned from having that. Have you had any? Okay, not have you, because that's kind of having to name somebody. What would you say has been the highlight of your career to date?
The highlight of my career to date,
When you
probably
thought, this was so worth it. Look at this, man. I'm so chuffed.
Probably my second book was, after it came out, it was the #1 bestseller on Amazon humor nonfiction. That was pretty cool.
Proud of you, man. That must have been definitely getting the Dr. Pepper out and celebrating.
Yes, I may have cried for like a week. Okay. But you know, that was cool. And then I, you know, interviewing Fifi Dobson, who is somebody that I have loved forever. That was another bucket list moment. I've talked to couple of contestants from Great British Bake Off, which is one of my favorite shows in the entire world. And I was kind of like, you know what, after this, if I don't do another interview ever again,
I've reached my moment.
Good.
So when people say, what are some of the best things to come from your country, apart from colonization, which is not one of the best things that's come from the UK, the Great British Bake Off has definitely
Great British
overseen any other achievement of Great Britain, I feel.
That's right. Yeah.
By all. It's amazing. You putting yourself down to be a contestant, popping over there?
You know, it's on the bucket list. I'm practicing.
Okay, so if you have any kind of agents or, you know, talent scouts or producers watching for that particular show?
Right. Yeah. You know, anybody from Bake Off or ITV, like, you know.
He's very cheap, just needs a Cadbury's Curly Whirly and a cup of tea on the flight. So, you know,
absolutely.
Get him on that show. Fantastic. So, book, what do you think? What would be your next 5 to 10 year plan?
I don't think that far in advance. It stresses me out. I take everything kind of a week at a time.
Yeah. I guess now we have to, you know, now we have the whole alien invasion thing to think.
Right.
So who knows what's going to happen in bloody November, right?
You know, so any of the aliens, if you happen to be watching Jaden's show, you know, I've got like 2 more books I have to get out by the end of the year, and So give me till December before you start abducting.
Absolutely. Actually, if they are watching the show and you want to be your first human YouTube chat show guest, I'll do a feature. I'm all over that shit. We good. Mate, both of winner. I'll stall them. You keep writing.
Absolutely. I love that.
Wonderful. So a new book?
Yes. So the sequel to Life, Liberty, and Something Like Happiness, entitled Not So Self-Evident, will be out in October. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully by December, I might have something else coming out.
Well, man. I hope you do get a chance to rest him at some point this year.
I mean, I like it. I like staying busy. I get up at like 6:30 every day and take my dog out and work on either the book or the magazine, or fish through emails of potential guests and listen to music. And then I'll go to I do have a full-time job that I do also 40 hours a week.
Mate, I am super impressed.
I get off work and we'll work until like 1 or 2 in the morning on where my head's at that day.
So, well, I've got to be, I know how that rolls. When I first started singing and needed people to follow me, I was doing 12-hour shifts in a home for severely disabled and aggressive adults, and then coming home battered and bruised, bits of bloody hair missing and spit all over me, and then thinking, I haven't got time to shout because I've got to at least get another 20 followers by Friday. So we'll do another 8 hours solid on, maybe even more on social media and stuff like that. So so when you're doing it yourself, you're the only one that's doing it, right?
Exactly. I do have I've got two business partners that help me out with some stuff. But I'm very much, I have to have my hands in everything.
Every part, right. Okay. But that's how you can be sure it's going to be done exactly how you want it.
Exactly.
So where can people find you? On social media, on music and ebook kind of streaming download platforms, etc., etc.?
The easiest place to go to, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Threads. I think I may still have a Tumblr account somewhere. I don't know. But the easiest way to track me down, find out what I'm doing, is go to www.yourlifethemixtape, all one word, .com. And anything and everything you will ever want to know about me is there. All my socials, all my shows, all my books, the magazine, the whole nine. It's all there.
Amazing. People at home, you need to go and find all these things that we've just been talking about, because this boy definitely needs some support. Go and check everything out. Greg, thank you so much for being part of my show.
Thank you for having me.
Bloody amazing. When your new book comes out in October, let's get back together and do a Jaden show special.
Absolutely.
Horse teeth. And that's a Wednesday, and we can chat about the new book.
Absolutely.
That would be wonderful. Kids at home, go the minute this show finishes, get on to this yourlifethemixtape.com website and start adding, following, subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. Greg, thank you a million times for everything you're doing for the indie group of people as well. So getting our voices out there is super amazing.
It's my pleasure.
And we will definitely get this, ain't over yet. So we will definitely catch up at some point and check out what's going on. And if I get anyone that I think will be amazing for your show, I'm sending them over to you, understand?
Absolutely.
That would be bloody wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You take it easy. See you soon.
Bye.
How amazing is Greg? I can't believe that it's been so long since I have worked with that man. Now, listen, go and follow him on his social media and Your Life, Your Mixtape, wherever you can find him. Now, there are a plethora of social media addresses for you to follow should you not be quick enough to write them down as they were going along the screen. Not only can you pause the video, that's what I found out that I could do, but also on the credits at the bottom of this video where you are going to subscribe and where you are going to leave a comment, there is every single social media site that I can find, all his addresses. So make sure, copy and paste, go and find him everywhere. Thank you so much, Greg, for being part of my show. Thank you, you beautiful kids at home, so much for watching. I'm not going to leave today without any music. Oh no, sirree, Bob. I'm not. I was really lucky enough to be able to sing with a wonderful classical crossover soprano. Her name is Sarah Louise Ward. Back in the day, she also is one of my super special friends, and hopefully there'll be another collaboration in the future. Now, we were told, don't you do like any heavy metal or something? So we decided to do some Metallica, but we done it our way, innit? So please enjoy the parting song today, Nothing Else Matters. This is Jaden Cornelius with Sarah Louise. Enjoy, and I will see you next week on the Jaden Show with another wonderful guest. I think next week we're going to North Macedonia. I know, international, crazy. See you next week, kids. Stay beautiful.
Trusting in who we are, and nothing else matters. Never opened myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. All these words I don't just say, and nothing else matters. Never care for what they do, no. Never care for what they know, no. And I know.
So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting in who we are, 'cause nothing else matters. Never care for what they do, no. Never care for what they know, no. Never care for what they do, no. But I know. Trust I seek and I find in you every day for something new. Open mind for a different view, 'cause nothing else matters. Never care for what they do, no. Never care for what they know, no. But I know.
So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting in who we are, 'cause nothing else matters.